All right, The Purge Season 2, Episode 6. Happy holidays. Man, I asked a question earlier to my Facebook group saying, if you're watching The Purge, which storyline are you the most invested in right now? Which one are you the most the most into? And after this episode, man, I was having a really hard time picking one. Like, they're all going off in such interesting ways right now. Like, this episode is the best. For me, this was the best episode The Purge has had. Like, I think this is the best Purge episode from either season. The pacing in this, the tension in this episode, where it was just cutting back and forth, whether it was like Esme hiding out in Ryan's garage there from the NFFA, her meeting on the streets and being chased. You had that going on. You had the Marcus story going on with his wife and her lover and everything there, and then you had Ben, who's returned home and for the holidays, and his brother and him are having this spat, and he's going out and he's freaking out, and he's, his girlfriend's getting crazy, like, are getting suspicious, should I say. Man, it was just tense. Like, every time it cut, like the editing, the gradual building of tension, and just the way everything was intersecting, the way every scene played off of each other, they kept heightening each other's tensions. It was really a really great episode, I thought. So anyway, let's talk about it more in depth. So yeah, this is one the NFFA cannot hide because there's way too many witnesses, and so we get these commentators on the radio network, and I love that there's like a website called The Urge to Purge, and Dermot Mahoney, or whatever the hell that guy's name is, he says to the girl, because she has like 200 people who are like following her, like, that want to kill her, and then the other girl's like, honey, like, I hit 1 million. The other, like, this is like their this is like their YouTube followers. Like, he's like, you're not anybody unless someone wants to purge you. That, like, this is what I love about this show. It just adds like multiple, just every episode, it just adds yet another interesting piece of information from this universe. Like, I'm so fascinated by what the world would be like if the Purge existed like it does in here, and how it would change literally everything. The Urge to Purge website. I don't know, when he said that, or when they were talking about it, it made all the sense in the world. It was like, yeah, like, that totally would exist. Like, imagine the people out there right now that are like absolutely despised by the general public, or at least like a good percentage of them. All these celebrities that just get absolutely blasted online all the time, whether it's warranted or not. Usually it's not, in my opinion. But imagine a person. I don't want to say any names because I don't want it to make it seem like I'm either defending them or I'm saying whatever. I don't give a shit. So I'm not going to say any names specifically, but imagine any one of those kinds of people. Like, they would have, a website like that, and they would just be like millions of people like saying they want to kill you on a night where they literally can, if you're not well protected enough, if you don't stay, well protected. So I don't know. That one really threw me for a loop when I found out about that website. It's just so evil. Just the whole, everything would change. Like, just everything. And I feel like these writers, and they really put a lot of thought into how it would change every single little thing. I'm very impressed with these little touches. that they throw in here, because I don't know. It's just the little things, guys. It's the little things. Anyway. So then Ben's getting interrogated essentially by the cops, and he gives an Academy Award-winning performance saying that he smoked some pot because it was getting too much for him during school, and he passed out, and they're like, all right, we're going to let it slide. I guess that pot is illegal, which is silly, but yeah, you can have murder legal for 12 hours a year, but you can't smoke weed. How stupid. And then, man, when Marcus and his wife are sitting there, and there's a knock at the door, and it shows up that it's the dude, and he pulls up her phone, he's like, no, I text her. Like, everything in their sequence was fantastic. Like, every single second of Marcus and his wife's sequences in this episode tonight or last night, I watched it tonight, just freaking fantastic for me. It was just, like, every second I was just like not really knowing what was going to happen. Was like, oh shit, like little curves were being thrown. So they show up and it's like, oh shit, he called him. And then she's like, all right, like, let's do this. And she opens the door and his wife's there. And it's like, oh my God, he's married and he brought her and oh shit. And then he sits her down and then he pulls a gun out on him and the wife is like freaking out like before that even, and is like, you lied to me for the last time, this and that. And then it just like goes from there. And I'm sitting there thinking, the wife's in on it, man. The wife's in on it. She's the one. And then when the dude starts accusing her, he's like, no, man, she's playing you like a fiddle, and she's really the one. And then it even goes to the length where he says, you know, like, essentially, you encouraged me. And she's like, oh, that didn't count. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, it was just a joke. Yeah, you don't joke to your, it's not a mistress. It's your, there's a name for that, right? Yeah. What is it? It's like no. What is it? What's the word when you're the dude, when your wife is cheating on you with? That's not her mistress. It's, I don't know, whatever that fucking word is called. I know it too. That's what pisses me off. But anyways, but yeah, they're going back and forth, and you don't. Like, who makes that claim? Like, who makes that joke, should I say? Like, oh, yeah, like, you know, he's how I'm going to purge him. You think that's funny? Think that's funny? You don't think that guy could be taking it seriously? And that he obviously did take it seriously? I mean, you live in a world where people can literally kill each other 12 hours in a year. That's crazy. Anyway. And then she's even helping him, because that was where I was starting to be like, all right, man, it's the wife. Like, she's totally flipping this. But then when he started accusing her, I'm like, oh, I don't know, that's a little too on the nose. And then she goes and she turns on the freaking stove to burn his face. Like, damn, this girl's got a lot of guilt and she's cold-blooded. That's some cold-blooded shit, man. But, you know, she's got to do what she's got to do to save face or burn face or whatever. And he admits to it. And he's like, you take that shit back right now or I'll kill you, your wife, and your entire family. Man, he went brutal. He went for the throat, man. He went for the family. You know you mean business when you threaten someone's entire family. That's some mafia shit. Wow. Anyway. And then you think it's like, it's over, man. Like, I didn't think it was over, but I did not expect that when he canceled it for only 10 grand to be taken away. And for him to be like, oh, I wasn't the only one. Like, this is a pool. Like, I'm just one of many that wanted you dead. Good luck finding the rest. I feel like, why would his name be the only one that dude gave him? That seems a little plot holy, but maybe that was the name at the top of the list. Maybe he had the biggest donation or the most recent, or I don't know. That all being said, or maybe that's his account. Yeah, maybe that would make sense. So it's he started it, and then everyone else attached themselves to it after. There we go. That would work. I'll take that. Okay, anyway, moving on from there. I feel like as soon as he said that, Marcus would have grabbed his ass, pulled him back in the house, and been like, give me the details. Anyone you know, who, what neighbors, who, my friends, like what? So the fact that he just let him go like that, I don't know, that seemed a little unbelievable to me. But he, of course, was paranoid in that moment because he's looking around and he's starting to suspect that all of his neighbors, who are definitely giving him some seriously odd looks. That said, that could be in his head, though I don't think so. Now, is it really all of the people he saw? And I know this is movies and I'm just kind of being a dick here, but when's the last time you came outside of your house and every neighbor you have in the, at dusk, it was like the sun was starting to go down, I want to say, is out front right then and there in that moment. One's walking by, one's taking out the trash, the other one's in the front of their yard or whatever. Every single neighbor he had just so happened to be out right then in that moment. That just was so freaking funny to me. I was laughing my ass off when I saw that. I was like, yeah, neighbors don't all just hang out. Although I guess they're just keeping an eye on him. They saw him come over. That would make sense. See, I'm explaining away what I consider little plot holes or unbelievable moments. They saw him come over. They're all attached to his bounty. And so they're looking out to try to see what went down, to see if they were exposed or not. Or maybe they want to be exposed and they were giving them the look yeah, we're in on it too. Okay, I like that. That works. All right, we'll go with that. Then we'll move on to Esme. Man, Esme is a beautiful lady. So yeah, her whole thing, she's on the run, man. She's in some espionage movie now, where she's running from the government. She goes over to Ryan and she threatens to expose him, and she's like, look, it doesn't matter if it's true. The NFFA will burn you and this place to the ground just to make sure. That's brutal, man. She's playing hardball. But of course it all works out, and now she's joining the crew. But there's not a lot to talk about in her story, but I just thought that the tension throughout, with her, going and talking to that kid and him showing her the wire, and then her going out and hiding, and then that girl that she worked with accidentally identifies her or purposely identifies her and feels bad about it. I don't know if she didn't want them to see it and they saw it before she could get rid of it, or if she had it up on her screen and felt bad that she was the one that got her exposed. Whichever one it was, it was a little ironic that she was the one that found her. But then, yeah, she's going through the crowd. She takes that guy's hat. I was going to say no dude would let you take his hat like that and then never give it back to him and walk away. Although, as I said, Esme is a gorgeous woman. But he would have been like, where are you going, baby? Kind of thing. So, I don't know. The fact he's really drunk and celebrating. He probably thinks she's still next to him. And then when he turns around, he's like, where's my hat? Where's the hot chick? But yeah, so as I said, there's not a ton to talk about with her and Ryan, but just her coming over to his place, and then Ryan and his whole exchange with the captain lady, who's essentially saying you don't have any choice but to trust me, and even then, you probably shouldn't. You have no reason to, and I don't really care. And it's man, what horrible conditions to be under when your life's on the line, when your future's on the line like that. So yeah, just kind of that exchange, and then his exchange with Esme and how their stories come together again, and him hiding her there, and you're thinking, shit, is she gonna get caught? And then when he's like, all right, I'm adding her to the crew, and she becomes America's #1 most wanted criminal. And his partners are like, that chick's face is everywhere. Like, I would think they'd freak out. Like, we need as limited exposure as humanly possible. And here we are bringing in the most recognizable face in a city where face recognition is everywhere. Like, they would, and they're cops. Like, they're not, they know how this works and what, like, they would freak, man. But we'll see what they say the next episode, because we don't really get to see their reply. They definitely give the "what you talking about, Willis" look to everybody, or to everybody, to Ryan and Esme. And then, then we got Ben's story where he goes home and his brother's being that annoying older brother who is trying to assert his dominance, or trying to embarrass his brother, or whatever the hell this guy's up to. Typical stuff. You see it in real life, and you see it in plenty of movies as well. But of course, he doesn't realize he's pushing a little too far with Ben. Now, granted, although I do think me and my brother, most of my brothers, but especially my brother Nathan, were extremely mean to each other, but like in a fun way, like in a funny way. We're like brutal to each other, but we love each other more than anything. And so like, I get what he's doing. Like, he's just being a jerk, and he's having fun, and he's poking fun. But as Ben says, like, dude, my friend was murdered. This isn't really the thing to joke about. Now, my brother and I have a dark sense of humor, but if my brother's buddy was murdered, like, in his vicinity, around him, and the killer's still out on the loose, I wouldn't be joking about it. So that seemed, and the fact that the mom didn't speak up and like, what are you doing? Like, she did after he said that, but I feel like that should have immediately been like, dude, my buddy died. Are you kidding me? Of course, we know the truth, but they don't. So that's just crazy to me. Anyway, but yeah, then he goes out, and his girlfriend starts to suspect even more when he pulls the knife on his brother. The mom seems like a cool mom. I like her. She's, the way she played off of her sons, she wasn't overly proper, PC. Like, I dug her. But yeah, like, he pulls the knife. Holy shit, man. And the girlfriend's like, what the hell? And then boom, he goes out to burn everything. He can't get rid of the mask because I guess he's connected to it, like Michael Myers in Halloween 2018. And then yeah, she finds the mask, and it's like cat's out of the bag. And then he comes to cuddle with her. Imagine being, how terrified would you be in that moment? I mean, he just threatened his brother with a knife. Like, who am I? Like, how long they've been dating? Like, how much does she think he really cares about her? Like, he could kill them all in the middle of the night right now. Like, how could she sleep? How could she even lay there? Like, I feel like as soon as he was cuddling up to her, he'd feel her heart, like just beating inside of her chest like crazy. So, man, I feel so fucking bad for this chick just sitting there with a guy that she knows. And she knows, man, she's known. She's just been in denial about it because she wants to think of best of him. But this is the confirmation. And Jesus, man, could you imagine? Could you imagine just laying there? Like, oh God, terrible stuff. So great episode. Just so many great twists and turns. So, man, good stuff. So anyway, what did you guys think of this episode? Are you with me? Do you think this is one of the best or the best? What story are you the most interested in seeing play out in the next episode? I seriously am torn. I'm going to go with Marcus's. Yeah. Ben's close. Really interested in Ryan and Riz. It's tough, but I'm going to go with Marcus. Really curious on who everyone was. just everything that happened in this episode with him and all this was just fantastic. So we'll see. What do you guys think? Let me know. Adios.